Good morning, Young Kings. Time for your more motivation this morning. Just got up and ran 10 miles this morning. Went a little further today. Felt pretty good. I know I'm probably going to have to take a bath tonight, soak my muscles, and also make sure I'm intentional about hydrating my body, replenishing some of the fluids that I just sweated out. So, looking forward to today. Um, Great weekend. Great weekend. Great weekend. I think it's my launching pad and the start to new beginnings, meaning that traveling down a different path in a different direction. So I'm looking forward to that, and we'll may get into that a little more in this video or in other videos. But today I want to focus on Black love, Black families, um, and the restoration of it. I mean, there's been a lot of attempts to break down the Black family, and I must admit that I've been a guilty participant in destroying the Black family, my Black family. Although it's not all the way destroyed, we're going to restore this thing. So Operation Restoration will be in full effect moving forward. But there's been a lot of attempts to um, break down the Black family, and I want to stop that now. Meaning that it's time for me to be a light and a shining example for others to emulate instead of getting back into the norms of destructive patterns and stuff of that nature. Start building something special because truly, um, my family is truly remarkable, and so is yours. So, as young kings, is make sure we establish that solid foundation. So, this is probably going to go a few different directions on this. Um, Yesterday, celebrated my twin daughters, Deani and Dalen's 18th birthday. My youngest daughters. So officially, all my kids are grown, and that's kind of weird. 45 and having four grown kids. It's but it's a blessing too. So it's and I told the wife yesterday, we did something extraordinary. Although our relationship has started to deteriorate towards the end, what we built is not normal. Meaning that um, two young Black people staying together, being married 25 years, raising four daughters, no high school pregnancy, no trouble with the law, honor roll students, just beautiful girls inside and out. Are they perfect? Um, no. But are they mine? Are they my wife's? Are they ours together? Yes. And God saw fit to bless us with them. And we haven't been perfect in execution of parenting. Um, but you'd be hard pressed. I mean, we're in uh, an elite group of individuals that made it through this endeavor together, raising kids, beautiful kids at that. So that is something that I don't take lightly. Um, we did a little birthday party for them at um, Old Chicago. It's a pizza joint, um, and I can tell they were a little disappointed in the turnout because we have had parties and stuff where a lot of people show up, and this is their celebration, and it felt like to them they probably felt like on their day people didn't show up for them as they have shown up for other people. Um, and I understand that in their infancy, understanding um, of friendships, of family, and if you're not careful, you can that could be a destructive train of thought. Um, so I wanted to emphasize to them like they are loved. I mean, people um, do have things going on in their lives, and it is COVID. A lot of people don't go out to restaurants and eat. The environment is different. Um, Not everybody can afford to go out to restaurants and eat. And that's not an indictment on anybody and their financial status. It's just a mere reality of it is. So there's a lot of things that's in there. But while I was running this morning, I was thinking about it. I was like, that's my family. Like, nobody shows up for us like us. Like, Um, my wife was there. You know, her mom was there. Um, I was there. You know, my older daughter got out of work and she came there. Obviously, the twins is there celebrating their birthday. And then my other daughter, that's in Oklahoma, stationed at Fort Sill, she was on a video call, and she was there. And then shout out to my nephew Lil B and his wife for showing up as well. But what I was realizing is like no one's gonna love us like us, meaning that there's a lot of people that come into our lives and stuff of that nature. Um, but that is our core family. That's my core family, and it's essential for me to build and protect that. So um, it's a long journey ahead to restoring this family because there's a lot of things I've done to um, cause dissension and destruction. But one thing that will never be destroyed or diminished is my love and my desire to restore this family, nor will my love for them diminish. So, a few stories in conjunction with that, because, like I said, it was a celebration of 18 years. And that's a beautiful thing. They graduated high school, both on an honor roll, both, I think, got bright futures. Now, they are taking a gap year, and I will be getting intentional about that gap year. But, and I say I'm getting intentional, and I got to realize now, like, I'm parenting adults. Um, and I told them yesterday, I said, my role changes. You know, yes, they will always be my baby girls, and they will always be my daughters. But now my role has changed as a parent. It's more of an advisor than it is an authoritarian or director. You know, I can't tell them what to do. Um, they're grown now, um, and they're free. And that's a scary feeling at the same time, but it's also a blessing. So, like I said, there's a few stories that I want to get into because September 20th, um, it's it's been a long time coming. September 20th, 2002, when they were born, when they were first conceived, or even 9 months before then, but we're not quite 9 months, and you'll get it as I get into the story. Like they weren't supposed to be here. Um, if if I would have listened to people's conventional wisdom, um, we wouldn't have had that celebration yesterday. That would have been more of a memorial than it would have been a celebration. And I say that because my wife had an extremely hard pregnancy, and I'm not a doctor or anything, and I don't remember the exact term, but she had a condition that um, the better the babies did while she was pregnant with them, the worse her body did. I mean, it was like to a point where it's like it was killing her to carry these babies, and it came to a point where people, friends, spiritual advisors, family members were saying, "Why don't y'all have an abortion?" And I was adamant, like, "No, we're not doing that." And a lot of people thought I had a selfish mindset for having that, and I had a lot of heated conversations with a lot of people about I don't believe in abortion, and this is not an indictment on anybody else in their mindset of what they believe in or if they think it's a woman's right to choose or whatever it may be. That's not the purpose of this video. I'm just giving you a glimpse into the decision making that we came to as a byproduct of our lives and our decisions. So I had heated discussion with people I respect, over abortion, and I refuse. And I made the statement. I said, if God get me to it, He's going to get me through it. Like I'm not aborting this. This process has been started. Like this is God ordained. Like God saw fit to give us kids, and I still believe that. Now, it went through that pregnancy, and it was an extremely rough pregnancy, and the babies came out premature, meaning that once she delivered, and it was a long pregnancy, as far as we went through like three or four different hospitals, and each one kept passing. And I think we started at Ingham Medical here in Lansing, and then they started to send us over to Sparrow, said they had better doctors to equip, and then eventually she had to be transported to the University of Michigan, where they specialize in premature births and pregnancies. And she spent a good 75% of the time of pregnancy in the hospital. Um, it was difficult because, while she's in the hospital with our twins, um, I'm at home with our older two girls and realizing that, hey, it's difficult to get girls dressed for school, to try to do hair and stuff of that nature. And I remember putting clothes on Demaria, the one that's down there, and she was like, "Mom, don't put this shirt with these pants. Like these don't go together." That's like it matches. Let's just roll with it. No, these don't go together. Why is my hair this way? And it's like, so we were navigating through a very difficult time and going through that aspect of life. And people were saying that we should have had an abortion, that we are putting ourselves through these things, and I didn't want that. Um, and nor was I going to allow that to happen under my family, my watch. And that may sound arrogant coming out, and it's not meant to be that way. And I hope that you have a little wisdom to see past that. But it was I trusted God more than I did trusted my situation. So eventually they were born premature, and we couldn't bring them home. So they had to go in ICU, and then one of my daughters was even on a breathing tank, had an oxygen tank, and they were just small. Um, the birth weight was 4.4 ounces and then 3.7 ounces. I mean, I remember that stuff, and it's 18 years ago, and they're just small and so fragile and so frail in the ICU. And I remember that they were in ICU, and then my wife stayed there for a day or two, and then they released her, said she was fine to go. So the University of Michigan is about 45 minutes away, so we drove back home to see my other daughter's soccer game, and we went to the game. Everything was fine. She was still a little tired and whatever. And then after the game, she said she wanted to go back down to the hospital because she wanted to see our girls. So after the game, we get back on the road, and she just says, I'm tired. And we're just driving back, and I said, okay, we'll get there, we'll rest. They got a McDonald house that we could stay in down there for parents with kids in ICU and stuff like that. So she's tired, and she's resting as we're driving down. And then we get to the hospital, University of Michigan, and park the car and get in the hospital. And as soon as we get through the threshold of the door for the emergency, she collapsed and had heart failure, meaning that like the timing of it, everything. If she had collapsed at a soccer game, if she had collapsed in the car, or if she had collapsed anywhere else, she would not be here. So she collapsed. They rushed her to the emergency room and things of that nature. So now she's in one ICU, and our daughters are in another part of the hospital in ICU. And then the other daughters are back home. So it was a very interesting time during that whole process. So giving birth almost killed her, and a lot of people were looking at me like, see, like she didn't, she almost died. But the reality of it is, it was close, but she didn't die. And it was able to be a moment that we built upon, meaning that the daughters, they stayed in there about 2 or 3 months. And then Deani, when she came home with a breathing tank. We had this large breathing tank in the house. and she had to walk around with tubes in her nose, and as we carry her through the house, and it was a long cord, so we can get around the house. But those were difficult times, you know. Um, but we endured that, and we made it through. And eventually, the breathing tank went away, and they were able to get back to normal functioning kids. They grown. They played soccer on varsity all 4 years. Um, I mean, running. There's no indication. There's no indication today. If you were to see them today, there's no indication that they just went through all they went through at the infancy stages of their life. Um, and that's a beautiful thing. I mean, you wouldn't have never known that situation happened had I not been on here telling you about that. And as I was running this morning, I started to realize, like, you know, that's a beautiful thing that they're here, they're healthy, they're smart, they're, they're everything that a man can want in a daughter. And they're still growing and maturing into to young ladies, like they're crossing that threshold. So although it may appear that no one showed up, um, our core family was there, and that's enough. Like black love, black families, it's like sustaining that. And now we're in this new season, um, and I feel like I have to go through that same process again, meaning that um, I'm trying to give birth to something better than what I had before, and it seems like there's a lot of people that I'm fighting against that or against us that's saying that we should abort this process. Like this is not worth it. Like this is killing you. This is doing this to you or doing that. Like it's not worth it. So I feel like that same decision that was 18 years ago for me to abort them, now it's asking me to abort my marriage and saying, hey, this ain't worth it. This is not something you should be invested in. There's better. You can do it again later with someone else or whatever. Find somebody for you. Like the reality of it is like there's no replacement for my daughters and my family. There's no replacement for my wife either. Like he who finds a wife finds a good thing and attains favor from the Lord. And I know that I have done a lot of destructive things to damage this relationship, but that's still my wife, meaning that I'm not about to abort this process because it's difficult. I'm not about to abort this process because I made a mistake. Like, I'm fighting for this thing, meaning that um, it's my turn to be in ICU. Like, my heart is collapsed and it's broken right now. Um, but I'm not dead, meaning that I still got life left. Um, and I'm going to use that to restore my family. And just as when I had this intense argument with family members and family friends that said I should have an abortion, and I didn't know the outcome, what it would be later, if if the kids, how would they be healthy? I didn't know. If they would have a normal life, I didn't know. There's a lot of uncertain things that I couldn't answer when people asked me the question, like what's gonna happen if they come out such and such or this way, and I didn't know, but I had faith in God. Like if God get me to it, God to get me through it, um, and that's where I'm right now. It's like I don't know what the end result may be, but I know that I don't believe in abortion, and I'm not going to do something to aid in that. Meaning that um, now is my time to fight. Now is my time to be um, in ICU to start fighting for this marriage. Like, I understand my marriage right now is it's an ICU, um, and there's going to be times where we're on the breathing machine that we need oxygen just to be able to speak and be cordial, just to say hi to each other. But I'm looking forward to the day where you'll be able to see us and you won't even recognize that we've been through. And I say that to get to this point. I remember the first time I ran 13 miles. Um, as I was running, that last mile was the hardest. I mean, it felt heavy on me. And, my body is aching and everything. And I see this old man, and he's walking his dog. And he's got a little limp or whatever about him. And he makes a statement as he's walking towards me. I'm running, and my body's giving this expression that, hey, I'm tapped out, I'm hurt. And he made a statement. He said, man, you looking pretty rough. You looking like me, like you beat down. And I said, yeah, I had just run 13 miles. I mean, I'm like a half mile from my finish line. And I had just crossed that 13-mile threshold. And he's like, you looking rough, man. You looking like me. You look beat down. And I said, yeah, I just ran 13 miles. And his face was shocked. He's like, what? Like, man, you're doing good. And I say that, it's that his perspective changed when he realized what I had just been through. Like, if that was mile 1 and I was beat down like that, then yeah, I'm in bad shape. But it was mile 13. And yes, it took its toll on my body at that point, and I was beat down. So he went from a statement of, we'll say, judgment and put down as far as me looking bad out there running, to a statement of appreciation and of knowing that I just accomplished something that was significant, all based on his perspective. So that was for miles. I've been running in this marriage for 25 years, meaning that has it been difficult? Yeah. And at times I feel like I'm beat down and I don't want to run anymore. But the reality of it is, I'm still running. I looked at my run tracker today, and in the last few months, I think really since COVID started back up, since COVID has started in March, I looked at my tracker and it says that I have run 26.1 miles, which is a marathon, 9 times. So my goal was to run a marathon, and the reality of it is, it's like, by me breaking it down in pieces and doing a little bit at a time, 3 miles here, 5 miles here, 7 miles here, 13 miles there, my tracker says I have run 9 marathons this year, since March. 9 marathons, 26.1 mile, 9 times. That's just shy of 230 miles, 240 miles. That's how far I've run. And I say that to say this, it's like, have I run a full marathon like I intend to do, and eventually I will train and get up there? No. And a lot of people may say, hey, that's not a marathon. But the reality is I ran that distance. So my goal right now is to restore Black love, is to restore my family, meaning that I have friends, I have people say, man, I don't know if I would do that. And some of them may say that I'm stupid and say, man, that's your ego, that's your pride. And I will say this, I love them, and they're entitled to have their opinion about it. But just think about it, that I've been with this woman 25 years. When we went through the 25-year analogy, we went through that, right? Don't even get me started on that. But 25 years. And you telling me in 25 years that you can't find something worth fighting for, then I say, right, you wasted 25 years. But I'm telling you, like, what I'm fighting for is worth it and more. I mean, it's worth it. So the reality of it is, that's the fact that you wouldn't do it. It's not an indictment on me. That's an indictment on you and your ability to love and to fight something or something you believe in. You know, that's not an indictment on me. Um, my love ain't fragile. It ain't frail. It ain't perfect either. But it won't give up. And I don't control the outcome. The reality of it is, it's like no matter how much I want to love her, no much how much I want to restore this, if she chooses to leave, that's her choice to leave. And I can't control that. What I can control is not quitting. So remember in life, like this stage I'm in life, you'll be there. It may not be the identical situation, but something's gonna come at you this hard. Because there's seasons in life. You either out of the storm going into it, you in it, or you coming out. Those are your three seasons. And I'm in it right now. So if you wouldn't fight for this in the storm, that's because you really didn't love when it wasn't a storm. You know, love is not for those good times. That's not love is not for the wedding day. Love is not for the birthday and holidays. That's not what love is for. Love is for the storm. So if you can't love in the storm, then you didn't love really while it was shining, or you didn't really have what it took to really sustain that love. So that's not an indictment on me. I'm gonna challenge you to get stronger, to get to a point where you would fight for it. And I got a lot of friends, and a lot of them understand the situation I'm in, and a lot of them, um, I won't even put the business out there. But I know very few faithful friends that have been faithful the entire time in the relationship. I'm just the one who is bearing the the thing of getting caught. There's very few. Eric's one of them. I'll give him that. But there's very few. But the reality of it is, it's like, and I feel like I'm the one advocating now. I'm like, I'm like Paul. I'm trying to lead the way to show people to the way. It's like I'm on conversation with them, like, hey man, it ain't worth it. I'm trying to save you from going through this. You may think that it's bad at home, but wait till you don't have home, and then you'll be really missing it. So I'm finding myself leading people away from the snares of the enemy, meaning that the destruction of black families. So um, I know I rambled on quite a bit, and that was my clock that just went off, so it tells me that I really need to get going and get ready to shower. But you can't avoid the storm. And my intent behind these videos is not for you to avoid your storm or for you to talk about me while I'm in mines or whatnot. It's to give you an umbrella, you know, so you can see. I can't stop you. I can't stop it from raining. But if with wisdom I'm able to give you this umbrella, it may shelter you a little, and you may not have the full effects of getting wet and getting soaked. So use some wisdom. Don't tell me what you wouldn't fight for. Find out what you would fight for and fight for it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I love my wife, and in the words of the great philosopher Jeremiah, you know, I don't want nobody but you. You know, you to love. That's my mission from now on. You know, sick to my stomach. I don't play about my woman. I'm coming, baby. Me and you. Black love. Black families matter. Stay strong, young kings.